Paisanos, it's the
Excuse me, princess.
Super Show!
Welcome back to the Excuse Me, Princess Super Show. I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And we're watching the entirety of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the Legend of Zelda cartoon in its air date order.
Which is where this gets confusing. What episode was this on Amazon Prime today, John?
It was like episode 30, I think you said.
What episode is this?
23, I want to say.
Yes. So, if you're following along at home and you're watching it in the Amazon Prime order, you're going to be lost, confused, angered, and disappointed.
Yeah, in that order. But the episodes we are watching today, which hopefully you know if you clicked on this, is... Hold on, I've got the blank run sheet template up. Here we go. The live-action segment is Mario Hillbillies, and the cartoon segment is Do You, Princess Toadstool, Take This Koopa? Originally aired October 4th, 1989. I think that puts us on the Wednesday.
Does that also mean... Well, of course it's on the Wednesday. It's a 3.
Yes.
But does that also mean that... My mind just went blank on that.
Did it have to do with the episode number or title or what?
I can't remember.
Very good.
I'll remember it when I listen back to it in a month.
Sure. And if you want to watch along with the show, you can watch legally on the Wild Brain Superheroes YouTube channel.
Amazon Prime.
And I think Netflix in some areas. Or it's bounced around from there. But I mean, just watch it on YouTube. It's the same transfer anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, there's that remaster on YouTube that's reinserted the cover songs and I think done some AI upscaling. Maybe we'll use that to watch an episode one of these days. But then we'd have to go back and watch it without the cover song instead of the other way around. And we could barely remember to do it the right way. And by we, I mean me.
I'm glad that you're willing to admit that, John.
Yeah, me too. It's the first step to recovery.
I thought the first step to recovery was having a problem.
I thought it was admitting you have a problem.
No, you can't admit that you have a problem before you have a problem. That's like saying, hey, I'm going to get into drugs so I can admit that I have a problem so I can recover and be a hero.
Well, I'm proud of you. Quitting drugs is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. Here's $1.
I didn't even do anything.
Hey, you're right. Oh, classic Simpsons is the gift that keeps on giving. Speaking of, you want to lead us through to live action segment?
Of course. So Mario and Luigi are going fishing.
Fair enough. Probably they don't say it out loud, but I'm sure they're going to go fishing in the Hudson, which is as terrible as it sounds.
And their bait is interesting. John, what did they use for bait?
It's a pizza covered in worms. So they're on brand.
Yes. But they are also expecting company that are coming for, what was it, another plumber's ball or a...
The plumber's hoedown this time.
Oh.
Yeah, I think maybe quarterly. There's the plumber's dance, the plumber's ball, the plumber's hoedown, and the plumber's eyes wide shut party. They don't invite any cousins to that one.
It's just the two of them?
No, though they're the only ones who go.
Oh.
But as it happens, yeah, they're expecting their country cousins, whose names I can't remember. Was it Luigi Bob and Mario Joe?
Yes.
Excellent.
Luigi Bob and Mario Joe show up, and there's...
Well, hang on. The brothers, the main ones, the prime timeline ones, they leave through the pipe void off to the left. So I guess there's another exit to the building over there, which is, I guess makes sense, some sense.
Maybe they're just fishing in the sewer.
You know, they might be. In fact, I think you might be right. But then why, they're not that far away. Wow, you're blowing my mind already. I've barely gotten any coffee out of this Batman mug. But as the Mario Brothers slink off into the Shadow Realm to go fishing, their cousins show up at the door.
Yeah. There's some more puppetry that has happened in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go through all of it.
Yes. Do you want to do it as it happens or round it up at the end?
A little bit of both.
Okay, because the brothers leave a note for their cousins on the scarecrow that's in the bathtub tomato garden, which I don't think we've mentioned before now, but it's been there the whole time. It's not always in the same place.
Yeah, you have to move it around where the sun is.
Fair enough. And anyway, they pin it to the scarecrow, who screams bloody murder. Don't be such a scarecrow.
So, they leave, stage left, to fish in the sewer, fish in the Hudson, whichever is more appealing.
And put on their straw hats.
Yeah. Enter stage top, comes Luigi Bob and Mario Joe.
And they're the brothers with the overalls, but with plaid shirts and straw hats.
Yeah, so they read the note. It says,
and accents.
Yeah, and accents.
In case you didn't know.
They read the note. It says make themselves at home, so they get themselves pizza out of the fridge. They start eating. They put their feet on the table.
And that's where we cut to the cartoon.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we cut to the cartoon just as they run to the fridge.
Yes.
They say, make yourselves at home. Vittles! And run off to feed their faces. So they're definitely Marios.
Yes.
We come back from the cartoon, and then that's where we were, where you pick up with them with the feet on the table.
Yeah. And here's where we thought it was just going to be another episode where it was just the two of them.
Yeah.
We thought John was going to be right for the entire thing.
Yeah, because I was right so far with my prediction that it was going to be their hillbilly cousins or whatever.
And I predicted that someone from Beverly Hills... Beverly
Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Axel F. himself.
What's going on?
Crazy Frog?
Yes.
Ding, ding.
No, it's Donna Douglas as Ellie Mae Clampett.
Who needs a new shiny sink.
Yeah, one of them fancy big city store-bought sinks.
Yeah. So, Luigi Joe. And
Luigi Bob.
Luigi Bob goes, it's like, realizes that this is their chance to make some money.
And impress a beautiful country girl.
Yeah.
Which I think is more important to them.
Yes.
So they decide, well, we don't have that kind of sink down here, but I'm sure we can come and fix it. We are, of course, the famous Mario Brothers plumbers.
I'm Luigi and not something like Luigi Bob.
Yeah, no funny name like that.
And this is Mario, just Mario.
Yeah. So yeah, they figure, as I was saying,
they're just as good of plumbers as the Marios, which isn't far off.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But they're going to go with Ellie Mae?
Ellie Mae, yeah. But they do take the time to watch clips from this week's Legend of Zelda before they leave.
Yes. I still have no idea.
Again, I do remember it, but it's not, memorable. But yeah, other than that, they head out. She's going to bake them possum pie or something.
Possum pie and like peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler, which they're into.
Yes.
On both counts. And yeah, they exit and back from the void.
She does question whether or not they're actual plumbers.
That's true. Because it's pretty obvious they don't know what the heck they're doing. And not in the Mario Brothers way where they actually are plumbers, but everything else they do has an air of cluelessness to it.
There's also another form of puppeteering that has happened, and the return of one of our favorites.
That's right. That was when it cuts back from the cartoon originally. Ellie Mae is petting the Ratigator.
Cuts back from the Legend of Zelda because she doesn't come back until come into.
Yes, you're right. After the Zelda clips.
So she's paying the Ratigator, and talking about how great of a creature it is.
Yeah, which is
true.
Yeah, yeah, she's right, and it's also very on brand for anyone who's actually watched Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes.
Ellie Mae is an animal lover of all kinds. And yeah, they head out, and the bros come back from the void, and they have some kind of rat on a plunger on a fishing pole.
Yeah, so they have a rat on a plunger that they say was a good catch, but they would have caught more if Mario hadn't eaten the bait.
Hey,
John,
I was hungry.
what was the bait again?
It was a pizza covered in worms. So they're veering into Ninja Turtles territory of gross pizzas.
Yeah, so it is kind of a disgusting pizza. And it's... You're right. Definitely going into the Ninja Turtles area.
Yeah, because I don't have the most concrete memories of the original 80s Turtles show. I never went back to it much, but I remember to be like, let's have cereal on our pizza! And stuff like that. Or ice cream on pizza. You know? And it's like, we get it. But, you know, that's enough.
No, deep fried ice cream. Ever have?
No, I had the deep fried Snickers once. That was alright.
I recommend the deep fried ice cream. It's really good.
I'll keep that in mind. It was like an ice cream sandwich crossed with a Monte Cristo.
Yes. And no. But I'm not going to tell you in which way of each.
Ooh. They both taste good with strawberry jam, and they both killed Elvis.
I'm pretty sure Elvis is still alive.
Oh, yeah. And he's in Brooklyn. Judging amateur Elvis impersonators from the great beyond.
Yeah. No, he's still alive.
I thought God himself delivered Elvis unto the Mario Brothers.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's somewhere near the back.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, all in all, not a bad live action segment.
No.
It's kind of a throwback.
A little bit. It's more of a middle third, I think.
Yeah. I'd say middle third is fair. And, you know, but it's...
Middle third.
It's properly tailored to the guest star?
Yeah. It isn't like the last couple of guest stars. Where?
Yeah, they're just kind of there to do stuff.
Because there was... Well, definitely better than anything that Magic put out.
Yeah, and Pam Madison was literally just there to stand there and deliver bad lines.
And the person beforehand did actually pretty good, and I enjoyed that one.
The person beforehand was Magic. Or do you mean after Madison before this one?
After Madison before this one.
Which one was that?
That was Marty Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Other than having to read cue cards.
Yeah, apparently. But then he also seemed to be looking at the camera, and then when they cut a different angle, he was still looking at the other camera.
Yeah.
But maybe the cue cards were under that first camera? I don't know. I mean, fair play. It was his last TV appearance.
Yeah.
But then, like, his last real-world appearance was, like, 10 years later. So, I don't know. But anyway.
Almost 20 years later.
Oh, right. Well, then he was just there for the day, and they didn't have time to go over the quote-unquote script.
Yeah.
But Donna Douglas.
Donna Douglas. Well, are you talking about the real estate agent?
Yes.
Okay.
Also no.
Donna Douglas is a real estate agent. Was a real estate agent. Very short time. So after, this is an interesting little tidbit. Because everyone knows her from Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
But after Beverly Hillbillies wrapped up, she went and got a real estate license. Yeah, real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
I did say that right.
Yeah.
And worked for a short time as a real estate agent. It was short-lived for the fact that she kept on getting acting work afterwards.
Yeah, which pays better.
Yeah.
But you know what? I respect the hustle. Go get that backup plan right off the gate.
Yeah.
Too many of those actors back then, back in the 4-channel days, not the 4chan days, back then they couldn't, they figured they would just go on and have another hit. But, it took a while before a lot of them realized, no, actually, it's just going to keep, I'd probably be famous for this and never get another long-running role.
Yes.
Which is also true. So having the backup plan right off the bat is a good idea. I'm going to need you to pause it again because I got to fix my mic more properly.
John, is your mic fixed more properly now?
It ought to be. The problem is it keeps drooping down so gradually I don't even notice until it's practically in my lap. Ha ha ha. So, Donna Douglas, besides Ellie Mae and Realtor, what else you got?
She also sung quite regularly as a gospel singer at different churches.
Mm-hmm.
She's done quite a bit. Unlike our last guest, this wasn't her last TV or film experience. Experience.
Ooh.
But for the most part, so she started off doing bit roles in TV shows. Such as Strangers When We Met as Neighbor, Lover Come Back, Frankie and Johnny. Oh, these are actual movies. But Bachelor Father, The Twilight Zone.
Everyone got in there once.
Twice.
Oh.
She was Janet Tyler in episode Eye of the Beholder, and Woman 1 in episode Cavender is Coming.
Sorry, your dog's hitting the chair my mic's attached to. Okay, well that's good.
She was in Night Gallery, Adam 12, Millen and Wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, Return of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
The Jerry Springer Show, and my favorite appearance of her, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Dang, I'll have to check that out.
Unfortunately, she did pass away of pancreatic cancer.
Mm-hmm.
January 1st, 2015.
Wow. That's a good run, though, considering Beverly Hillbillies is from the 60s or whatever.
She was 82.
Oh.
But yeah.
I thought she did pretty well. I mean, it's obvious it was a walk-on. I'm getting paid a day's work to put on the Ellie Mae wig. In 1989, she hadn't aged out of it completely.
No.
It still looked pretty good. Like, she was a beautiful woman, but, she didn't look like young Ellie Mae.
No.
But, fair enough. And, she obviously wasn't reading cue cards. What little script or improvisation there was, she did very naturally, which is what you want.
Yes.
And, so I would say pretty solid live-action segment. Not the best, but certainly a step up from some of the ones we've seen.
Yeah. Better than anything magic.
Yeah. That's the low benchmark is Magic Johnson and Pam Madison's second appearance, just because all they did was stand there.
Yeah. That was painful.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Aaron's almost entire menagerie is starting to surround our recording table now.
Yeah.
You know how animals are when you sit at a table. They figure there's something going on that they need to be part of.
The dog,
especially if they can hit things and bark and make noise.
One moment, please.
Yeah, and then we'll transition into the cartoon.
Where we can get hooked on the brothers.
Bye.
Now, evil Koopa and his troopers are up to misbehaving. They kidnapped the princess, Mushroom Land needs saving. Abusing and confusing everybody discovers they can't help but be hooked on the brothers.
Alright, we'll get into the cartoon now. Do you, Princess Toadstool, take this Koopa?
Princess who?
That's every time. It's so goddamn funny.
It is.
We'll do the writers now, just to get out of the way. It's J. Larry Carroll and David Bennett Karen again. They previously wrote Rolling Down the River and Brooklyn Bound. So, one good one and one alright one.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty fond of Rolling Down the River.
And
I liked Brooklyn Bound more than you did, so.
Rolling Down the River also had someone else from this episode.
That's true. We'll get to that at the
Jeannie
end.
Elias.
Oh, yeah. She played Princess Toadstool. All right, so. This is a weird one. It's almost like it's from an earlier version of itself. I'll try and explain what I mean, because...
Good news, the Marios are captured.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it the plumber's log opening? It wasn't the best start of a day we've ever had, or something along those lines. Oh yeah, hey, this is the part where cats get on the table and knock stuff over because they're cats. And anyone who acts surprised by it is a fool. But the Mario Brothers and Toad and the princess have been captured, and they're in a castle.
Yeah. In the Mushroom Kingdom, because Bowser has turned all the mushroom people...
Whom?
All the mushroom people have turned...
Touche. Yeah, okay. So, they're in the castle. Mario and Luigi are locked in a cage. Toad and the princess are just in the hall with Bowser, King Koopa, Mouser, I think it's there, and some Koopa Troopas. And there's a real lack of pageantry about this for an interesting reason. It's the actual story of Super Mario Brothers, the video game, basically. And I'll elaborate as we go. They're, he's got the brothers in this funny shaped cell where the bars are horizontal and too far apart for the brothers not to just slide through them, but that's a very common cartoon thing.
Yes.
Makes it a lot harder to animate them if there's bars in the way. And
Or stars in their eyes.
Ooh, also true. So, basically, King Koopa is, he's hitting her with the old, tell you what, you marry me, and I'll free your people. And I'll let the Marios go. This is after he finally, he turns Toad into stone with a magic scepter.
Yes.
Because in the backstory of Super Mario Brothers, at least the American backstory, I'm honestly not sure about the Famicom version, the Koopa tribe had swept into the Mushroom Kingdom, and their king used his dark magic to turn the Mushroom people into stone. Now, the internet would jokes and make you believe that every time you bust a brick in Mario, you're killing a mushroom guy. But what it actually is they're the item boxes. And they're given items to help Mario. Like the super mushrooms and the stars and even the coins. You know, well, I don't have a power-up to help you, but I'll empty my wallet.
Everyone in Hyrule is slightly magical.
Yeah. Everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom is slightly robbed. But no, so in this case, there's a whole gallery in this castle of petrified mushroom people. Not that you can tell that's what they are until you see Toad turned into one.
Yeah.
And that's the final bargaining chip. That and the bars start retracting and the walls start closing together in the Mario Brothers cell.
Yeah.
They're going to get turned into pizzas.
Pizza pie.
Yeah.
Pancake pizza. Let's put some pancakes on this pizza.
Dude. And yeah. Princess Toadstool's like, okay, fine, I'll marry you. You gotta let the Marios go, and you gotta let my people go. And King Koopa says, yeah, okay. I'll release Toad and your mushroom people before the wedding, and the Mario Brothers after the wedding.
And he immediately goes into wedding planning mode.
Yeah, immediately. He wants to be married in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's no funny name. There's no gimmick about where they are.
He asks Mouser to invite all of his friends.
Oh, yeah. Then eventually it just devolves to...
What friends?
Yeah.
Just invite my mother. She'll be she'll just come for the cake.
Yeah. So, they cut to As everyone leaves the jail, Mario and Luigi immediately pull spoons out of their overalls and start digging.
Yeah. By punching the wall, it looks like.
Yeah, well, what is it they say? What are plumbers best at besides plumbing? Digging. Which is, I guess.
I mean, they have to dig trenches underneath the foundations for laying the pipe.
That's true.
I know this. I used to be an electrician.
So did Mario. Well, he was a carpenter anyway. But
what did Foreman Spike do?
he nearly hit Mario with his car. And so we go to the gallery of petrified mushroom people, and there's probably a couple dozen. And King Koopa keeps up his end of the bargain by releasing Toad and three, count them, other mushroom people. And they act like they've all been released, so I think that's a script versus finished product thing.
Yeah.
Because I think they were all supposed to turn into it, and then Deke is like, hell no, we're not animating 24 mushroom people.
We're not even animating 4.
No, it's true. The other ones stay conveniently off screen most of the time. And Toad is almost immediately reverted. We'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah.
So they let them out the side door. And meanwhile, the Mario Brothers, their first tunneling expedition, they end up cracking a wall open right behind a pair of Hammer Brothers. Who, is this the first time we've seen Hammer Brothers in the show?
I think it is.
I thought, it's like, why are those Koopa Troopas wearing helmets? And then they each hold up a hammer. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. And then they hit each other on the head.
Yeah, that was funny. They turn around to whack the Marios and end up hitting each other. So that was well done.
Yes. It's very Two Stooges.
Yeah. And then the Mario Brothers eventually dig their way right outside, just in time to witness Koopa come out the other door and immediately refreeze those 3 mushroom people and Toad.
Yeah.
Because he's King Koopa.
Yes.
It's what he does. And what he does isn't very nice.
Yeah.
So, the wedding plans are in full swing. Koopa's being fitted for his suit jacket, which doesn't quite fit.
No. That was in the past. His mother shows up after this point, who is mad at him for not wearing the suit jacket.
Yeah, but is it before he's doing stuff like get the band together and he's climbing that ladder throwing flower petals everywhere? Well, that was before, because the princess had to come in and remind him to actually do the stuff he promised. That's right. That was our first snippet of White Wedding. We'll come back to that, too.
Actually, right here's a perfect place for it.
Yeah, because...
Did it add anything to the episode?
What, the 12 seconds of White Wedding we heard?
Yeah.
No.
Did it subtract anything from the episode?
Also no. It almost like it distracts from it, but not in a this is wrong way, but it's like, oh yeah, that's what that is, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Koopa's climbing this ladder, you get basically the and maybe just a little bit of the chorus.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Just long enough for him to climb the ladder and fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll talk about where it comes back later, which is actually since that's the longer cut, that'll be the part of it that you're gonna hear right around now. Special thanks to the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube. Link in the description below.
The lucky Princess Toadstool's gonna get me as her handsome husband.
I wish we had more of this cover.
Yeah, it was a pretty confident cover, actually. And it's like and I'm sure there is, or was, a full cover. Because we've been looking at the Mario Wiki and they actually list, like, names of groups that apparently did these covers. And I'm sure they're just studio people, but it's not like it's the crew of the Mario cartoon doing these covers. They're just finding covers from the cheapest artists in the area and paying them for single use. And so they can cut it up as they see fit. They're not doing the cover for the cartoon, as we sort of thought. I think they just found all the cheapest covers they could get. Yeah. Plus, they're mixing them in with stock cartoon plots. It's like, okay, wedding. Oh, these guys have a nice cheap cover, a white wedding. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Some of them are less obvious, like when they used Shut Up or You Face in the Great Gladiator gig.
Yes.
Although that one actually kind of worked. Sort of.
I think it did a lot better than what we have right now.
The White Wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because the tone of the episode was not the right tone for that.
No, like I said,
It didn't add, it didn't subtract, it was just there, and if you watched it on mute, it would have been the same experience.
Yeah, we were able to guess where the cover song was, at least the second time, the more obvious time, just because we're getting better at picking out the music that doesn't fit with the rest of the music from the show. The Mario 3 soundtrack, cartoon soundtrack, is slightly off. This episode especially was full of reorchestrated Mario music. Lots of the underground theme, the Oh, and also, one thing I do want to... Inside the castle was a big set piece from Mario 2. That long, tall blue room with all the chains that you have to climb. It's where you climb up to the top to get the key, and then you got to take the key all the way back down to the bottom before the Phantom Mask gets you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like level 2 of Mario 2. And yeah, that's a recurring little set piece area. But it's not the Great Hall where the wedding's going to take place. But you were going to try and segue us into Koopa's mother.
Yes, Koopa's mother. So Koopa's mother has now shown up. So proud of his boy for no longer going to be a bachelor, and a disappointment to him, to him as well. He's a disappointment to himself.
It's a classic bit. Bring in the villain's overbearing mother.
You almost feel bad.
Although, it's nowhere near as bad as Robotnik's mother over in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
We should watch that and compare.
Yeah, well, at least Robotnik's mother is voiced by Kathleen Barr, who is Dot on Reboot. Not that you can tell, but, it's an interesting fact. And yeah, but no, she... I like the design. She's got, like, a punk spiky hairdo and shades. And is otherwise just a more female-shaped King Koopa type model. It's not, again, it's not Mama Robotnik with her giant mustache. And yeah, she's a bit, she's very overbearing. Lots of, now go do this, now do this. How can you not do that? Yes, Mama. Sorry, Mama. Yeah. Stuff. And, again, it's an old bit. I'm not going to get on them for trotting that out after everything else we've seen.
I am. It's lazy. It's bad writing. They should do better. They should feel bad. And they should fix themselves.
Alright, so meanwhile, the Mario Brothers, they've
been getting lost.
Yeah. And they do get their way outside, as we said, just in time to witness Koopa refreezing everybody. The entirety of the Mushroom Kingdom populace, 4 people.
Yes.
And they immediately they know they need Toad to show them the directions around the castle. So Luigi's got to hoist Toad around on his back.
As a giant slab of granite.
Yeah. And they
get into the they have to get into the castle again.
Oh yeah, they disguise themselves as
the caterers.
The caterers.
With and at first the Koopa Troopas don't let them in.
Yeah.
Because they don't need no dang caterers.
Yeah. And then they come back saying they got bug soup, which the Koopa Troopa is really happy to hear.
Yeah.
And Luigi he says, I can't believe they fell for the old bug soup routine. So I guess it's been used before. And anyway, they do get in. Where's Toad at that point?
And Koopa, Toad is on Luigi's back.
But when Luigi's dressed as a chef too?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe that was just to get the Koopas to open the door, and maybe I blinked and missed something.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're in the castle. They get to where Koopa is getting dressed for the wedding, having been berated by his mother for not being dressed yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's his wedding day.
And at least he's not wearing a diaper.
Yes. That's a significant improvement. And they see him put his magic scepter down after threatening Mouser with it, just to remind the kids that that's what that does. And they... he strolls off without it because his mother's calling him again.
Yeah.
And
we increase the pasta power count.
yeah, because grabbing the
scepter turns Mario into Super Mario.
yeah, complete with fire flower abilities.
Yeah.
And then does he zap Luigi with it to turn him into Super Luigi?
Yes, and releases Toad, and the scepter is spent.
Yeah, the scepter dissolves into ash. Again, conveniently explaining why none of the other Mushroom Kingdom people are going to be saved at this moment.
Yeah.
Because this is the closest they've come to beating King Koopa and saving her people.
Yes. By
And-
losing.
By losing, yeah. By just getting captured and being taken to where they all are. So, they've got Toad, and he leads them to the Great Hall to the wedding. And Triclide is the priest.
Yes.
All three of his heads have apparently been ordained. Two of them are holding the Bible for the middle head to apparently having been read out of, although they're literally just at the do you blah blah blah.
You better remember our agreement.
Yeah. And then she's about to say I do, and the Mario Brothers come in and literally crash the wedding
Yes.
by exposing, Koopa's duplicity and kicking over the wedding cake and apparently crushing some Koopa Troopas to death with it, even though it pretty much just dissolves into white goo.
White goo that gets splattered all over Koopa's face.
Yeah. That's one of those.
It's an unfortunate setup where I'm not sure whether or not it was on purpose or not. It was.
I don't know. Those Korean animators just might not get it. Like, the cake shouldn't have been splashing around like that. It should have been bits of cake or something.
Yeah. Not white goo.
Yeah.
Maybe there's different style of wedding cakes. Mine's gonna be cupcakes.
Yeah. What yours isn't going to be is a giant tower of apparently nothing but whipped cream.
It is now.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Maybe you should have that next to it. Everyone takes a bare cupcake and dips it onto the other cake for the icing. It's kind of like a chocolate fountain. Maybe you should just have a chocolate fountain. But White Wedding plays again during the brief quote-unquote action scene, which is just the Marios coming in and
Destroying the place.
Which is fair enough. And then it all just sort of stops. Koopa's mom is disappointed in him and strolls off.
We forgot about the plans for the honeymoon.
Oh yeah, they were going to go... Koopa's mom was insistent that they go and stay with her.
Yes.
In the vilest swamp of 7 worlds. And Toadstool... She makes noises like she's crying, even though it just more looks... visually, she's just kind of standing there with her mouth open and her eyes closed. It's more like she's screaming.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just before Koopa went to go and get dressed, I think.
Yeah. So we're all over the place on this. There was a lot packed into the 15 minutes on this episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, Koopa's mom berates him for once again being a failure and walks off, and Koopa's just sitting there on the floor.
Yeah.
And the Princess Toadstool and the Marios just tell him he sucks and leave. I mean, they're not going to go and carry all the mushroom stone people on their backs.
Yeah.
Although I guess there's one each. And
just take him back to the mouth of the river.
Yeah.
Or Marvin.
Mervin, yeah.
Or Sheldon.
Pasty Pete, as I've always known him.
Or Hercules.
Yeah, so...
One each.
The episode just stops. Koopa Koopa's mom tells him to go sit in a corner for 6 days. Princess Toadstool warns him that one day he's going to get what's coming to him. And they just sort of walk out. And that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've got mixed feelings about this one. What about you?
Would you be bad if I said middle third?
I think that's fair enough, but...
This is a very average episode.
In terms of quality, yes. In terms of structure, it's really odd.
Yeah.
This is like a cartoon of Super Mario Brothers.
So, lore.
Yeah, this is lore. This is... If I didn't know for sure that it wasn't, I'd almost say... Well, I don't know for sure. I'd almost say this was the pilot, at least in script sense. You know, it's not unlike the same team. They did... I said they did Rolling Down the River, but they also did... They did Brooklyn Bound, and this is more in the mold of Brooklyn Bound.
Yes.
Although, you know, Brooklyn Bound had Koopa Khan in it. This one is literally the stuff from the games, with the mushroom people being turned to stone, King Koopa being the only one who can stop it. Although, in the technical sense, in the game, the reason the princess is locked up is because she could reverse it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why the princess has been kidnapped, is because she's the only one who could undo the magic. That's not in here, but I mean, they're culling enough from it as it is. But I mean, that's also part of later games, is Bowser's quest to continuously try and marry the princess. So it's fairly forward thinking in that sense, and it's because that way he's the ruler on paper. It's an old bit.
Yeah. The only thing that matters is what's on paper.
Yeah.
And paper can be burnt.
And so it's not a bad episode, but it almost doesn't feel like an episode of this show.
No.
And I don't know if that makes it better or not. I've kind of fallen into a groove with the way this show is. This feels like it's a more played straight Mario show.
Yeah.
But it's not the Super show as we've known it. But it's so weird. It's just, it's, even the cover song, you can tell it wasn't, the sequence wasn't animated for the cover song like it usually is. That's what made it so hard to place.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like different action beats or meeting different parts of the songs. They kind of did, but only in the way that certain songs will fit anything.
Yeah. Like Guile's theme.
Yeah, exactly like Guile's theme, sort of. There's a new meme for you. White Wedding goes with everything.
Oh.
But, yeah, so I liked the episode. Not as much as either of the other two by this team, though.
No. So I guess... Voice actors.
Yes. It's time to get into the cast again.
Danny Wells plays Luigi.
Yep. Lou Albano is Mario. Jeannie Elias is the princess. John Stalker is Toad, Mouser, and Koopa Troopa. And Harvey Atkin is King Koopa and Tri-Clyde. So some well-worn... You know, we're starting to remember those now. And they're good at keeping those voices the same.
Yes.
And our additional VA is Joyce Gordon as King Koopa's mother. She was previously the mouth of the river on Rolling Down the River.
Was that episode 4 or 6?
6. Episode 4 is Mario's Magic Carpet.
Right.
Which is where I thought she was from. I thought she was the genie, but that was a different person.
I keep on forgetting about Mario's Magic Carpet.
Yeah, we've finally done this long enough that we don't have to think about it anymore, especially because we have a new worst episode from with episode 21.
Oh.
Because Mario's Magic Carpet was the worst, but now it's
elevated.
Yeah.
Now it's not as bad.
So I don't think we need to go into lore or filler because of our digression. It's
lore.
It is the lore.
Yeah.
It's like this and Brooklyn Bound are the episodes of the previous Mario cartoon that tried to adapt the games.
Yeah.
And, you know, along with maybe the first one a little. So, yeah, definitely lore. And ratings.
Oh. I kind of like this one. I kind of like this one a little bit more than the last one.
Yeah, fair enough.
7 out of 10 stoned mushroom people.
Oh, nice. And yeah, I would give it... Yeah, I think 7 is fair. My mixed feelings to the execution aside, I do like that it's a lore episode.
Yeah.
And it's, I would say 7... See, the dog's doing that thing where if nobody talks, he's fine. If someone's talking, they're not paying attention to him, so he has to get their attention. He's sitting at the door. He's not sitting on my doorstep.
Yeah, I know.
So I would give it 7... wedding cake facials. Out of 10. It's letter time. Hey.
It's time for another letter time, and this
Hang on. Your microphone's pointing behind your chair.
Good news, I'm back.
Yeah. Bad news. It's Aaron.
Yeah.
All right. We're here with another letter time.
And this time, it's a very special letter time once again, because how many letters do we have to get through after this?
We're going to do another double bill of Dr. Derp's letters, and that'll catch us up again.
So
And then we can try and do one per episode.
I'm married now.
Yeah.
In case it comes up, I am not responsible for the end of the Excuse Me Princess Super Show yet.
Not yet. Eventually.
Yeah.
But first we have a few YouTube comments.
Yes, of course. YouTube comments. Let's start off with my favorite YouTube commenter, Lenola Cola. I guess you can say it was peak deek. And that parody DBZ next episode preview caught me off guard.
Thank you. That's a running gag Aaron and I have been doing for years. I don't remember who I got it from. Apparently, someone was making fun of the spoilery titles in Dragon Ball. And I don't know if there actually is an episode, Farewell Vegeta, Death of the Saiyan Prince, but it's something like that. And I thought I'd put on my best Kyle Hebert. Looks like the battle has been put on hold. Kind of voice. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Although as a Canadian, I always feel a little dirty using the Falconer score because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
We had recycled music from the Mega Man cartoon. In the Westwood dub. Sing it with me now. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z.
And seeing Mario with the stereotypical sleuth hat in the background makes me think if he ended up in mid-1800s foggy, wet, moist, damp United Kingdom, or United Mushroom Kingdom. Very well could be.
Yeah, I'm sure he will eventually if he hasn't yet.
And now time to go a little further back. Another Lenola Cola comment. It does surprise me that there wasn't a Muppets Baby style show for the Mario Brothers, especially when Yoshi's Island was released, which has Baby Mario. You couldn't say it was too late for that type of show because I grew up with Baby Looney Tunes show in the early 2000s.
Ugh.
Making us feel old, like the old men we are.
As you're literally stroking your beard while you say that.
Yes.
Fred Van Winkle. But no, did I reply to that one? I think I did.
Yes, he did.
Okay, well, I'll just summarize it, but like I said, the main thing, that could have happened, conceivably, except after the Mario movie from 1993, all Western Mario productions stopped. The cartoons stopped. The board games stopped. The read-along stories stopped. Everything. Ground to a halt. Nintendo went through a Japan-only phase for adaptations.
Yeah.
Which they've only recently started to shake their way out of.
And the Illuminations movie was actually pretty good. And
yeah.
I hope one day that we can do a riff track of it.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I bet that would be fun. We have at least one guest star lined up for later on in the show, and he would also be a good guest for that, I would say.
Don't we have two?
We have one confirmed and one tentative.
Oh,
We don't have a place for the second one yet.
yes. But yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah. Throw our hat in that ring for a while. Any more YouTube comments, or should I get to the mailbag?
There's one more.
Oh yeah, on the short that had to do with baby King Koopa.
By the end of this, there has to be a ranking/tier list for all of Koopa's outfits of the episode. Does Baby Koopa beat Koopenstein or Count Koopa? The answer might not be so shocking. And that was Linola Cola again.
Yes, thanks for commenting on the shorts. We appreciate it. And that would be a fun one for a ranking video, too. We've already got at least 3 that we're going to be doing between the Super Show and Mario 3.
Yes.
Because, as we've said before, we're going to rank the live actions, we're going to rank the cartoons, and we're going to do a Zelda best to worst list, probably.
Yeah.
Rather than ranking the Zelda, there's so few of them, we'll just put them in order.
Yeah. Best, obviously, being cold spells.
Yeah, that must be it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the comments, and we'll get into a couple letters from Dr. Derp. First one here, Return of the Mail, Plumbers of the Year / The Adventures of Sherlock Mario, or The Bub of Bonkers Street. Oh, and I just noticed some of the theme naming in his, besides the subtitle, there's Revenge of the Mail, Return of the Mail, A New Mail.
Oh!
Yeah, it's only when I looked at him in the list that I started to get it.
It's a parody of Star Trek 2, the Wrath of Khan.
Just like stars in their eyes. My favorite episode. Hi, John and Aaron. Time again to check in on the Mario Brothers plumbing. Hopefully things aren't as unpleasant this time around. Oh yeah, because the previous one was... Yeah. Thoughts on Plumbers of the Year. If I made a disloyal order of the Water Buffaloes reference, would anyone even get it? I think we made the reference,
Yes.
at least generally. On the one hand, the Flintstones are still recognizable. On the other hand, a joke would probably even fly over the heads of Fall Out Boy fans. Oh well. Nobody wants to hear me sing about tragedy. Seemingly a callback to the likes of Neatness Counts and the one where Mama Mario visits, this one wasn't awful, but explicitly filler. I think that's fair to say. I mean, you know, this one has a thrown together quality to it, especially the way the guy was reading cue cards.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe if someone were a big fan of Lodge parodies like the Water Buffaloes, they'd get a kick, but I got nothing. Yeah, our main takeaway was the cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Right up, and then thoughts on Adventures of Sherlock Mario. Right off the bat, are we in agreement that Herlock Solmes is a dumb name for a Sherlock parody? Yes. Especially when Mario just calls himself Sherlock Mario anyway? Was Sherlock not public domain at the time or something? Apparently not. That's our understanding too. When they were dubbing things like Lupin III and stuff, they had to make it less explicit. Their Holmes parodies, I think even for Detective Conan / Case Closed, similar thing. But they were able to release that animal anime one as Sherlock Hound. So I think it's almost more about Holmes than Sherlock.
Is that why it was House, MD?
Well, I mean, that was because it's not, yeah. Because it's a different character. He's Holmes and Watson at the same time.
Hodson?
Yes. Nobody tell Professor Kooparity, that he got the wrong dude. Poor guy already has enough trouble carrying that giant pipe around in his mouth. Yeah, he had a really big parody pipe. That was pretty funny. I was surprised we didn't see bubbles coming out of it. Those tend to do that.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
We
cats.
should get bubble pipes.
Dude, I don't think they make... It's like candy cigarettes. I don't know if they do that anymore. We might get some of those blow-ons that kind of look like old penguin cigarette holders. We'll have to look into it. Let's go to the dollar store later.
I was going to go on to Amazon Prime. It's just past Prime Day, which means the prices have come down again.
Yeah. And while you're on Amazon Prime, you can watch the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yes.
Then again, maybe that's how we got into military ship shape. Oh, how he got into military ship shape. He looks like someone I would fight at the end of the Vermilion City Pokemon gym. He did have a strong silhouette about him, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Not as thin or wiry as your usual Sherlock portrayal. To add insult to injury, Bonkers Street is actually pretty clever wordplay, or at least amusing wordplay. Some Tex Avery, Roger Rabbit wordplay there. Obviously, a Sherlock Holmes send-up is a solid premise for any cartoon. Disney made a great one around the same time. Maybe the comparison doesn't help, but this feels quite stiff and flat in spite of the material there was to work with. The exceptional highlights that prove the rule include the fight between the Plumber's Helpers and the Koopa Pack. Not exactly a Zelda-worthy fight, but amusing still. Yeah, I remember we thought that they actually were fighting for once.
Yeah.
When they were in the knight armor and armed with the plungers. Like, that was a decent amount of action, especially for this. Come to think of it, the parallels between this and The Great Mouse Detective are quite spooky. I know Sherlock Holmes well enough to know that it's not the consequence of pulling from the same source material. Did Koopa just say, "Gotta go fast"? As in Sonic's catchphrase of questionable canonicity? Oh, there's two N's there, that's canon band. But, I don't remember him saying, "Gotta go fast." But he certainly might have. It's been a while since we watched the episode from our perspective. Did Sherlock Holmes just dox Koopa on live television? Yes. Yeesh. I take back that crack about his name. Good name. A bad name in Iceland, but a good name everywhere else. Nice use of the Peter Gunn theme. Funky, moody, and just the boost of energy the cartoon needed. Wait a minute, that's Henry Mancini. As in The Great Mouse Detective's Henry Mancini. Dang it, Dan Reba, stop it. The classic fight is a little rushed and significantly more stilted than the earlier fight, but there's only so much runtime you can work with, so whatever. At least Victoria isn't up to its armpits in sewer water, and Koopa's escape doesn't seem to be foreshadowing for an Alice in Wonderland parody. Then again, Wink being spoken as Mario winks doesn't ease my concerns. Favorite joke, Bonkers Street. I suppose that would make Mario the bub of Bonkers Street, but in the immortal words of the Big Lebowski of Venice Beach, that's just like my opinion, man. The killer kitty of the Caskervilles was a fun last-minute gag, too. Yeah, but we had to go back and look it up because we didn't remember it.
Yeah.
We remembered that it was there. Books are hip-hop, mystery novels with interludes of hip-hop lyrics. Unintentional unintentional foreshadowing. To quote Hotel Mario, that ought to do it. Also, at least Princess Peach dresses in Sherlock Holmes attire in the recent Princess Peach Showtime. Also, that Sonic connection has to be given a shout out given how often Mario and Sonic would cross over in the 21st century. The count is up to 30. MVP of the episode, Sherlock Holmes, who has the best name ever and is absolutely trustworthy with sensitive information. Updated top 5? Nope, but at least nothing falls into so uncivilized. Hang on. At least nothing falls into the so uncivilized tier this time around. A handful of standout moments might have made a difference if Hercules wasn't the bouncer at the bottom of the list. Question of the week. Reimagine either your favorite Sherlock Holmes story or your favorite detective mystery story as a 20-minute Mario cartoon. For example, send-up of the Red-Headed League where Luigi gets scammed by the Tall Younger Brothers Fund. Actually, now that I think about it, that sounds less like a cartoon and more like a live-action rapper. Next time around, I hear wedding bells ring. I also hear some unpleasant relatives crashing for the night, bracing for impact. See you next time.
Okay, question. Which...
Pick a Holmes story if you're familiar enough with one. If not, pick a detective story you think would have made a funny Mario cartoon.
I'm gonna do it slightly different.
Okay.
Instead of the cartoon, I'm gonna go with live action.
Okay.
And it's from one that wasn't released at this point. I would love to see a 20-minute adaptation of it with the Mario Brothers Detective Pikachu, but it's Detective Ratigator.
Oh, that'd be interesting. And the Ratigator and the Mario characters are CGI, but we still get Paul Elder as Ratigator Dundee in live action.
Yes.
Crikey, I think the game's afoot. That sounds great. Let's see, I should pick a real Holmes story. Yeah, He already used Red-Headed League, otherwise that would have been really good. Because that's just the kind of send-up you do for a Mario parody.
Yes.
You could do the Dancing Toads, but they're actually dancing. I'm also trying not to remember how the stories were twisted for Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Or you could do... A Scandal in Bohemia, but Irina Adler is Princess Daisy.
Oh!
Yeah. And she's the only one who's ever outsmarted Sherlock Mario as he tries to find the incriminating evidence that Princess Daisy has on, like, the Mushroom King or something. That could be pretty good.
Yes.
All right, and we're going to do one more letter here. Here we go. The Mail Awakens. Do you take this Princess Koopa, Mario Hillbillies, or did somebody say cheap 3D gags? Hiya, John and Aaron. Let's check in Mario Brothers Plumbing and see if they can clear our clogs. Thoughts on Mario Hillbillies? I wish we got to see the Marios fishing. That probably would have been more entertaining. Yes. Just somewhere in the pipe void, sitting in a dinghy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that just made me flash forward to one of the live-action segments I know is coming.
Okay, dinghy as in small,
Small boat.
Yeah.
Motorboat.
I'll get back to that eventually, but...
Okay. That is, what, the third time where the joke is Lou Albano and Danny Wells play other characters? Yeah, third so far.
But the best time doing it.
As Billy Bob Mario or whatever?
Yeah.
Mario Joe and Luigi Bob?
I think it's the other way around.
I think
Luigi
so, too.
Joe and Mario Bob.
And I'm still not a fan. At least seeing Ellie Mae Clampett was a nice surprise. Kinda wish we saw the Mario Brothers guest star in the Beverly Hillbillies instead, but I'm not touting any monkey's paw that wants to offer that reality. I'll also throw in a point for that cheap 3D gag with the fishing plunger at the end. That was cute. Yeah, it's like every time you watch a thing that was in 3D, but it's 2D, and everyone's pointing stuff at the screen.
Yeah, like Avatar.
Like Avatar, or even that scene in the Doctor Who 50th anniversary where all the Queen's Guard spears are pointing at the screen.
Or, Captain America, the First Avenger, the zip line.
Oh, God. Well, those actually looked okay in 2D, but that post-production 3D made them look like cardboard cutouts sliding down a string.
Because it was cardboard cutouts sliding down a string.
Yeah. Thoughts on Do You, Princess, Take This Koopa? Gotta hand it to the Bowser Forces Peach to Mariam plotline. It was oddly popular in the 90s era ancillary media, like the comic and the OVA, before making a comeback in not just the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but even Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. Oh, and there was Super Paper Mario, but that was a different Bowser anyway. I'm sorry, Cooper, which is apparently a valid nickname to use now. Shout out to incorporating Mario 1 lore about the mushroom people being turned into rocks. I can't count it as unintentional foreshadowing because the closest Nintendo came to offer homage in recent memory was the iconic opening of Super Mario Galaxy. I think this safely qualifies as a lore episode. Yes, we agreed.
Yes.
I had thoughts on it. No movie parodies and no gimmicks beside the wedding. It might as well be set in the Mushroom Kingdom. Where does it take place in the timeline? You tell me. Or tell those Koopas with the creepy white eyes. They really waste no time getting into the cover song this time around, do they? A nice pick, albeit an obvious one. Really satisfying to hear return in the climax. I really like the smooth animation during Mario and Luigi's dig-dug-like escape sequence. Also, our first look at the Hammer Brothers. Cool. They look just like normal Koopas, but with skateboard helmets. Yeah, it's true. It kind of loses their hard hat aesthetic. But then come Mario 3, you get the really big ones, and they do look like skateboard helmets. The Sledge Bros. It's sad to see Koopa realize he doesn't have any friends. Almost as sad as seeing him doxxed in the last episode. But hey, this is Koopa we're talking about. The double-crossing sleaze he is, so it's not so bad. Not to mention he has a lousy taste in wedding bands. I'm not sure if his mother fares any better either in music taste. I live in the smelliest swamp in 7 worlds. You'll love it. The Super Mario Luigi transformations are still the color flashes I don't like, but they're significantly briefer than in Pirates of the Koopa, so I'll take it. I love how Mama Koopa has the last word before the cartoon iris is out. This was a pretty great lore episode. Favorite joke? This isn't really a funny episode the way others are, but at least try to be. Or at least try to be. I'm not sure if I can remember any conventional jokes I liked with conventional punchlines, besides the one Mama Koopa line. But I do like the visual gag of the Hammer Brothers accidentally bonking themselves while trying to nab the Mario Brothers. Come to think of it, my runner-up would be the visual gag with the band. Books are hip-hop? In spite of the lore, this actually felt really hip-hop to me. Snappy and to the point. Yeah, it had a good movement to it. Unintentional foreshadowing. I feel foolish for missing the Luigi missile last time, so I'll count that now. Add the whole Bowser-Peach wedding shtick and the image of the Mario Brothers digging, which I recall from at least Mario Party DS. Possibly the first time we see Mario without his cap on. Possibly the first time we see the brothers in chef outfits and referencing the swamp as among the 7 worlds, like in Mario Bros. 3 and New Super Mario Bros. Games. So that's 36 to date. MVP of the episode, Mama Koopa, the most feared individual in all 7 worlds. Yeah, these Deke cartoons had a thing about the bad guys' moms. I mean, It's an old bit. I don't know how much Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog you watched, but Mama Robotnik was a recurring character. She was voiced by Kathleen Barr, who voiced Dot on Reboot. And Trixie on My Little Pony. So, big name there. Updated top 5? Yeah, I'm thinking so. It takes spot number 5 away from Hercules. It even cracks my Yop 10. Spot number 7 behind the Great BMX Race and in front of Alligator Dundee. Question of the week. Assemble a wedding band comprised only of Mario characters. You'll probably come up with something better than Koopa did. I'm taking the lazy route and picking the band from Mario Odyssey. I'm hitting the road, but I'll be back for next week's episode. See you then. Alright. Mario characters to make a band. And
5 Toads.
5 Toads. Especially the one who's particularly upset.
Yes. He's gonna be...
and this is gonna be a forward reference, because this is coming in the episode before any of that happens. Well, you'll see.
But no, I would go for Wedding Band. Actually, Daisy Peach. What's her name?
Rosalina?
Rosalina. Is it Diane?
Oh, from Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
Pauline.
The
mayor of New Donk City now.
And Bowsette.
She doesn't technically exist. Okay, what are we doing? Girl groups, Spice Girls, Motown, what? I know
Diana Ross and the Supremes.
I know. They were too big. They couldn't book Susanna Ross and the Sublimes.
No, another forward reference.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Rosalina. Funny thing, there's concept artwork of her with her playing a guitar, so at least we can know she plays guitar, or could have. Okay, go ahead.
The other option is get Mario and Luigi to play the trumpet and trombone again.
Yeah, and march all the guests out of the wedding hall and into the lake. Take a picture of the duck. But let's see, something a little different for mine. I thought the 7 Koopalings, the Koopa kids. I bet that could be good. I don't think any of them play instruments. But I mean, most of them were named after musicians anyway. We don't have to get into that till the Mario 3 cartoon, where they have different names. But Iggy Koopa was Iggy Pop. Roy Koopa was Roy Orbison. Wendy O. Koopa was Wendy O. Williams. And the other Koopalings. I can't remember. Ludwig was Ludwig Beethoven. So yeah, the 7 Koopalings as a band. I think there's some potential there.
Okay.
Thanks for the letters and the comments, everybody. We appreciate it as always. Jesus Christ, this cat leaves a lot of hair behind.
It's her way of marking you as hers.
Uh-huh.
It's also like 59 degrees out.
It is that. We're in the middle of a hot time in Canada. And how long until the Americans blame us for the smoke?
16 hours, 42 minutes, and 13 seconds.
All right. Well, back to the episode you were listening to, which by my reckoning should be episode 23.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, we'll see you next time. And if you want to reach out to the show, you can leave a comment on the YouTube version of today's episode.
You can email us at excusemesupershow@gmail.com.
You can reach out to us follow us on Facebook at Excuse Me Super Show and Blue Sky at Excuse Me Super Show.
Twitter on Excuse Me Sup Show.
And check out TikTok at Excuse Me Super Show for our weekly best of clips and cover song comparisons.
Yes.
So, you ready to do your predictions for the next episode?
Only if you can read them to me. Next episode on the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, we review, riffed on, and discuss the following episodes.
Yeah, so
which are...
The live action segment is called Super Plant.
Ooh, is this a little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis in it?
You might be half right, kid. I think it's going to be something like that, or something along the lines of that puppeted clog from the Horowitz episode. And then this one stretches the imagination a little less. The cartoon is the Pied Koopa.
Oh, it's a follow-up of the Wedding Cake Facial.
Ha! The Cream Pied Koopa. With a K. So yeah, so we'll just leave it at that, I think.
I know how Koopa's spelled.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh.
But we'll check our spelling next time, because I'm John.
I'm incompetent.
And until next time, everybody, do the Mario.
Do the Mario? I told you I was incompetent.
Ah.